Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act pursuant to the public laws of 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Lacey Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. We have to salute to the flag in a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number one. First reading of ordinance 2018-05, amending chapter 323 of the code for municipal truck parking fees.
In order to the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 323 of the Township Code of the Township of Lacey entitled Vehicles and Traffic, so as to amend and supplement Section 323-39 entitled Control for the Movement and Parking of Traffic on Public and Private Property, and we're amending subsection 9 called Truck Parking Lot Parking. This is located in the back behind Public Works. We have 28 parking spots that are signed into annual contracts, and we're raising the fee to $1,000 annually for those individuals to park their vehicles there. Motion?
Move it. Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes. Resolution 2018-92, authorizing the execution of an interlocal service agreements with the county for the child seat restraint program.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the execution of interlocal services agreement with the County of Ocean for the Child Restraint Safety Seat Program Grant. This is from the Goshen County Prosecutor's Office. This is money that they reimburse the municipality for running programs with regards to child passenger safety seats at $55 an hour.
Move it. Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes. Resolution 2018-93, supporting the reappointment of Joseph Coronado as Ocean County Prosecutor.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, requesting Governor Phil Murphy to strongly consider the reappointment of Ocean County Prosecutor Joseph D. Coronado for a second term of office.
Move it. Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, if I could have just one comment on that?
Yes, sir.
If I could, I appreciate your time, thank you. I'd like to strongly support our prosecutor for the work that he's done here in our county. It's my opinion that he's really redefined the position of county prosecutor. He has dovetailed enforcement with education and prevention, and he's been a great friend to us here in Lacey Township, visiting our high school several times and supporting our municipal alliance. There's a man who'll be in our town tomorrow night as well, working with our high school again, and working with our administration over there in our Red Night Out celebration. I'm sure some of our colleagues and my colleagues up here will have more to say about that. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mr. Mayor.
Next.
We're on 4, right? Resolution 2018-94, authorizing the reduction of a performance bond for Phase 2C for Seabreeze at Lacey.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing reduction of a site improvement performance guarantee for Seabreeze at Lacey Phase 2C, conditioned upon the posting of a new performance guarantee. Motion?
Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes. Resolution 2018-95, refunding a building permit fee.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the refund of a building permit fee issued by the Lacey Township Building Department. It's for permit number 2017-715. The individual did not perform the work, and we're refunding a portion of the fee in the amount of $258.
Move it. Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes. Resolution 2018-96, authorizing the refund of deposits.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing refund of deposits held for the use of municipal facilities.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes. Resolution 2018-97, authorizing the payment of township bills.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the payment of township bills in the amount of $6,735,473.84. Motion?
Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes, with abstention D, 400.
And Mayor Juliano.
Yes. Monthly reports.
For the month of February, the municipal clerk's office collected receipts in the amount of $6,952.96. For the month of February, the Department of Community Development collected receipts in the amount of $100,902.85. For the month of January, the municipal court collected receipts in the amount of $21,977.98. For the month of February, road opening permits were collected in the amount of $4,475, recycling commodity in the amount of $533, and temporary truck parking, which is usually 1 or 2 overnights, in the amount of $40. Motion to accept the reports is read.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve caucus meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2018.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve township meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2018.
Move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve raffle license applications for the Knights of Columbus and the Forked River Tuna Club.
Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve raffle license amendment for the Women's Club of Lacey.
Move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve bingo license for the Lacey Elks Lodge.
Move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I do have some add-ons this evening. That's it. First is resolution number 99. It's a resolution of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the provisional promotion of Christopher Gerisi to the position of motor room operator in the Department of Public Works pending promotional procedures by the Civil Service Commission. We had a motor room operator retire in July. This young man has been performing those duties as added title work since July, and he's the only one actually in the position now. I just need to finally get him in the right spot via Civil Service.
Move it. Second.
Is it, Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes.
Next is Resolution 100. It's a resolution of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the appointment of Matthew Bender as a public safety telecommunicator for the Township of Lacey. Mr. Bender has been working as a trainee with us for 1 year. Upon the 1-year completion of his job, and as long as he has received the certification that is required to be a public safety telecommunicator and has performed his duties in accordance with the Civil Service outlines, he will be moved on to the next title of telecommunicator. So we're just moving it forward after his year.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes.
Resolution 101, resolution of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the employment of Philip Diamore as a temporary electrical inspector for the Township of Lacey. This is a part-time temporary position, no more than 12 hours per week to help out when needed.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes.
And the final resolution I have to add on this evening is the resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, accepting the certification of the Director of Public Works concerning the costs incurred in the removal of debris and cleaning up of the property located at 458 Barnacle Road, and authorizing the placement of a lien against said property for said costs. Last week, we had to go in and take care of some business at 458 Barnacle. The amount of the lien on the property will be $555.53.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Juliano?
Yes.
That's all I have to add on this evening. Committee comments.
Comments from the committee? Committeeman Quinn?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of comments. Committeeman Curatolo touched on it, and he'll probably speak about it a little bit more. Tomorrow night, we have our Red Night event over at the high school, which we have every year for the last number of years, put on by the Municipal Alliance, participation by the high school, Mr. Coronado from the prosecutor's office. There's a lot of different folks that come each year, and it's, it's a great night. It's a night to really put emphasis on the drug crisis that we have here in the, not only in the county and the state, but throughout the entire country. So if you have the ability to get out there and see it, it starts at 6:30 tomorrow night. It's truly a evening that you'll learn a lot, and you'll hear some very good speakers. I know Peter's going to be over there representing the governing body. The rest of us have a commitment already with one of the fire companies in town that we're going to be attending as well. But yeah, I know Pete's spoken a few times at them, and I think he'll enlighten you a little bit more during his comments. So I'll pass that on to you, Pete. But two other things. There was an event this week, which again, some of us had to go to one event in Toms River, and the rest, well, I should say Veronica and Community McDonald took a trip down to Atlantic City for a very special evening, where the township was given a award. It was given to us by the New Jersey Parks and Recreation Association, and the award was for the best in design, first place in design throughout the state of New Jersey for our new Bayfront Park, which opened up, as you know, last year. It was unfortunate we had prior commitments that night that we had all planned on attending, and when they sent us pictures, our names were all there, and we felt terrible that we weren't all in attendance. But it was really something that really truly means a lot, because that park, if you know the history of it, was completely destroyed during Superstorm Sandy. It sat for a number of years down there where we just didn't have the ability to take and rebuild it. And then thanks to a grant that we received for $1 million, we were able to take and go out there and design a beautiful facility and a beautiful park that last year had probably more use than any park in our community here in Lacey Township. But I want to give special thanks to a couple people. I want to, certainly Casey Parker, who used to be our Public Works Director, played such a major role in the design and the building of that park. We had contractors that actually did most of the work, but Casey was involved in it from step one right until the final ribbon cutting, when we had the ribbon cutting of the park last spring. And he's not with us anymore, but he certainly has left quite a tremendous legacy with what he accomplished down there for us. And I have to, without a doubt, thank Veronica here, because as much as Casey did, Veronica was behind the scenes pushing Casey, pushing the governing body, and pushing everybody involved to make sure that it came out the way it did. She handled the financial end of it to make sure we qualified, and ended up getting the grant that we got, to be able to build it for really very little cost to the taxpayers itself. So Veronica, we never do this a lot in this community in these meetings, but if you don't mind, give her a round of applause. And of course, Tim McDonald, who should be getting all the accolades tonight, and I understand the plaque is out in the foyer in the front here, but Timmy unfortunately had a business event that he had to attend tonight. But Timmy will be here next month, and he'll probably repeat everything that we say tonight, so bear with him and play stupid that you didn't really hear what we said tonight. But he was a driving force as well. We all participate to a certain degree, but Tim oversees recreation, and he does a fantastic job back there. He was the one who came up with the idea last year of starting to have our summer concerts, and we did have our first summer concert down there last year, and I know this year he's going to expand on that and try and get more and more concerts going throughout the town as the spring and summer season go forward. So, but it was really a true honor to be able to take and receive an award and be recognized throughout the state for something like that. The only other comment I have, I talked last month quite a bit in depth about the Oyster Creek issue with the plant being closing down in October, and just want to bring everyone up to speed a little bit more. We did have a meeting last Thursday night. Oyster Creek folks from out in Pennsylvania, as well as a lot of the local people here, came in and sat down with us and started talking about the decommissioning and the process and different time frames and what's going to happen as we go move forward. We don't have a lot of information set in stone yet, because they are looking at different options. Oyster Creek certainly has the option of whether they want to take and go through the decommissioning themselves as a plant, or whether they want to sell that off to another entity to go through the decommissioning process. So we don't know what the final decision is going to be. But we are 100% aware of the fact that you're really not going to see much change go on down there, other than the plant actually go offline in October. They figure it's going to be 5 to 7 years before they have any major dismantling of the project itself. They're not going to start anything until the spent fuel rods are out of the pool into the concrete casks that they have on site down there and stored safely, because their main concern is safety. They don't want to have any possibility of any vehicles, trucks, or any equipment, anybody going on the site to start dismantling buildings or anything else until all that fuel is in a safe storage facility and the security is in place, so that they can make sure they're protecting it, for the residents of Lacey Township and anybody else in the surrounding county. So we hope to get more information on not only the labor pool that they have down there, how many people are going to be staying on to work in the decommissioning, how many people actually, we don't know the exact number, how many people live in town. We're trying to get those numbers, and they're supposed to get back to us with it within the next week or two. So as we move forward, we're going to make sure that the public is well aware of what's going on, and we'll be able to answer your questions. We can answer some of them now, but as we go forward, we'll certainly have more information for everybody, and, hopefully it'll be a nice, smooth thing moving forward, so. Thank you, Mayor.
Committeeman Curtis.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, and I'd like to dovetail on some of the comments from Committeeman Quinn. Again, tomorrow, starting at 6 p.m. at the high school, will be Red Night Out. It's to knock drugs and underage drinking out of our community. It's it is a very important and timely topic, not only in our town, but in others. There's a social cost, there's an economic cost. We have our former football star from Lacey Township is going to be there tomorrow, as well as Frankie Edgar, a knockout artist from the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We're going to have Prosecutor Coronado. The best part about it is the amount of students that come out. We have towns 2 and 3 times the size of ours in municipalities, not only in our county, but around the state. We have more people at our Red Night Out to put the brakes on alcohol and drugs than in a lot of other towns, like I said, that are significantly larger than ours. Again, I'd like to make a plea to Governor Murphy. To me, there's more things that are more important than politics, and the work that our prosecutor has done in this town and the towns throughout the county has been a model for prosecutors around the state. I know that Governor Christie did step out of party in appointing 2 during his tenure prosecutors in South Jersey to different counties. So that precedent has been set, and the inroads and the relationships that our prosecutor and his staff have had, in particular with our schools, and that positive first interaction with law enforcement, that counts. That counts when you have somebody that's out there and a staff that's out there that's not just doing an enforcement, but is to education and prevention as well. So I'm hopeful that doesn't fall on deaf ears, and I'm hopeful the governor really takes a discerning look at that. I would like to thank people, as I did last Township Committee meeting, for attending our Ocean County Health Department event at the mall, 3D, drinking, drugging, and driving, and in particular the folks from the school board, Lacey Township High School, and all the students that participated in that. With specific regard to the nuclear plant, we say what we say up here, and again, I'll dovetail with some of comments that have been made in the past and last week and in the past months. What we are doing here is anything but sitting still. We're working with our strategic partners, and that would include our Board of Chosen Freeholders in this county and our senators, and we're working with Congressman MacArthur. We've had meetings. We are attempting, and I believe relatively close to getting a township center designation in our primary commercial roadways. That's County Road 614 and Lacey Road, or Lacey Road, known as Lacey Road, and State Road Route 9. That will enable us to significantly increase our footprint for business, draw new businesses here, different types of businesses, innovative businesses. So there's things that we can control that are being done. The reclamation portion of the nuclear plant, the decommissioning process of the nuclear plant, these are things that will take years and years and years. There will be a staff that is still working there, albeit reduced. There will be an opportunity for existing employees to engage in employment elsewhere and be offered other things. That we've been assured of that in different areas. And it might make for a geographic move, but that is part and parcel of what we will be going through. But I have a lot of confidence in my colleagues up here that, like I have always said, there's a lot of academic capital up here. There's a lot of land use experience up here. And it's something we've been standing shoulder to shoulder with and moving forward with, not at all working alone, but with partners around the county and the state. Without that support of those people that I mentioned earlier, I think the outcome would be different. But I am encouraged by the outcome, and I look forward to the future. Thank you, Mayor.
Committeeman
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this past week, we had a chance to meet with an aide from Senator Booker's office and Congressman MacArthur, along with aides from his office, to go over a number of issues regarding the power plant, in particular funding for the power plant. Those are important meetings for the township because they provide us with information to pursue the goals that we're trying to achieve on a township-wide basis. They had forwarded us a congressional research report that's it was basically the history of all the bills passed regarding the storage of nuclear waste. It was quite a lengthy read, but since there's a lot of money involved, and since there's a lot of money involved, there's various competing interests within the federal government about what to do with nuclear waste, where to store it, who gets it, and there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of money at stake, so there's a lot of different stakeholders, and they're all pulling in opposite directions. But what we'll continue to do, we try and prepare. You have to start now to prepare for the future. It's likely that those casks will be there for many, many years, but how the mechanism works for the funding of storage now is that the energy company successfully sued the government to take back the money that was supposed to be used for Yucca Mountain and other storage places. So those companies will be getting the money back, and since we'll have a somewhat permanent storage site for the foreseeable future, it is our intention to apply pressure on all levels of government, whether it be Democrat, Republican, at the state and federal level, to somehow get to not forget us and get a piece of that funding. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to bring up for the Lacey Township Recreation, the Volunteer Fair 2018 will be April 4th, 5 to 7 p.m. at Community Hall. It's to get people together to become volunteers in the town with different organizations throughout our town. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for everybody to meet with everybody to really see how we can make different things like we had today. I don't know if everybody liked having the old guard here. I thought it was a great thing. When I went to their meeting the first time, I really did not know what the old guard did. But when I went there and I spent 2 hours with them, I really realized what they did. And the camaraderie between them and the talking between them was really great, and I really had a good time. And that's what I'm trying to build here, so we can really build up our organizations in town to help us to help you. And the volunteers deserve everything that they deserve everything they do in the town. Going on to what I think Committeeman Quinn said about the concert series, I'm meeting with a couple people from Berkeley Township. I wanted to get an idea of how they made their thing all come together. I noticed a lot of advertising which came to the company that I work for as a full-time job of how they made that so successful and brought people together. I never realized that some of them, it's 5,000 people show up to some of them concerts, and I really want to meet with them to see, like I said, how they developed it and made it work to the way they did. Other than that, I really have no other comments other than Public Works is starting to gear up for the springtime coming. We're starting to ride around a little bit to take a look at the parks, some of the damage from the bad weather, what we need to do to fix that. And that's it. So I'd like to, if everybody has no other comments up here, I'd like to open it up to the public. God bless you.
Are we allowed to complain?
It's your time. You might just state your name.
Okay. Kathleen Pilot, 459 Barnhill Road, Crooked River, New Jersey, 08731. So my main complaint is about the Code Enforcement Office. Since summertime 2014, up until I contacted you, which was February 28, 2018, I personally contacted the Code Enforcement Office over 30 times. I did not get a chance to pull up my Sprint bills online, but if you would like, I will definitely pull up every single phone bill from 2014 up until present day. There were squatters living at the house, as you know, because I believe you were out there, I was watching my cameras. So from summer 2014 up until last month, I constantly called the code enforcement office. So the last time that I just got so fed up with nothing getting done, that I actually emailed the code enforcer's office on February the 19th, which was a Monday. I saw the code enforcer at Wawa on February the 20th, which was a Tuesday. I went into his office like a maniac, because not only did I have squatters living there with no heat, no electricity, no water since the beginning of 2016, and a minor living there.
Just before you continue, they did have water. That was the issue.
They tapped in, right? Okay.
No, there was water on to the home.
Okay, because I did call the water department, and there was no record of the water in the sewer.
Yeah.
I called the gas company, they wouldn't give me any information, and I called JCP now, and they did tell me that the electric was off. I know for a fact that the electric was off probably the end of February 2016, because they had a domestic dispute February the 7th, 2016. That was Super Bowl.
Okay.
And there was a fight that escalated outside because, you know, I developed insomnia because there was so much fighting going on and so much drug activity going on, I couldn't sleep. So with that said, I purposely went to the code enforcer's office on February 21st, and here's the papers to do the public, I don't know what you call it.
Oprah.
Open Public
Oprah.
Records Act, and I did this February 21st, 2018, because I wanted to see exactly how many complaints were actually written out. So from 2014 to 2018, there was five complaints. Out of the 30 that I called and the 6 other neighbors that I had. Now, the neighbor in front of me who lives at 460, that was a rental, so they're gone 2 times over. The neighbor that is on the very corner, she was the neighbor that actually wrote the letter, I believe, on August the 17th, 2017.
Is that Mrs. Reed?
I believe that's her name. August 17, 2017, Lacey Township Board of Health, and then I believe Veronica got a copy of this also. So she called also. The elderly people on the corner, they didn't want to be bothered. They were scared. Dave didn't call. I called, Lisa called, and Jane called. So I just wanted to see for my own personal agenda, how many complaints were filled out. There was 5. Out of the 30 times that I called, and I will prove it to you if you want, there was only 5 complaints filled out.
There are certain documents that are not operable that are called worksheets that you're not entitled to, so there might have been worksheets that where he would write it down that it was a repeat call for the same thing, but those documents aren't necessarily operable because they're
Well, out of 30
worksheets.
calls, there should be more than 5. And you weren't living there because I remember talking to you in 2016 about this house.
I don't live there, no.
I called you and I talked to you. Yes, I did.
Well, I said I don't, you said I wasn't living there. No, I don't
No.
live there.
Right, and I said to you, if you were living across the street from this house, I'm sure something would have been done. So anyway, with that said, on February the 8th, a new squatter by the name of Ray Borderman came to the property. Since January 1st, 2018, up until February 19th, 2018, I called the code enforcer's office 5 times. There was not one complaint form filled out. Nothing was done. In fact, when I called the code enforcer's office, John told me that he was exhausted about hearing about that address. I said 458 Barnacle Road so many times, Mayor, I was actually writing it down thinking that it was my address. Where do you live, Kathleen? 458 Barnacle. Oh, no, I live at 459. I'm sorry. So I'm very displeased. You know, he can drive around in a brand new truck that all of us have paid for, and I'm just disgusted. I strongly feel that either we get a new code enforcer or we get someone to help him, because I don't know if you've driven around Lenoka Harbor or Forked River, especially on Beach Boulevard. It's very dumpy. I mean, I personally, I live in Wall Township myself, so I'm not used to like all the mess and all the disgusting yards. I'm just not used to, I don't live that way. I have OCD really bad. My cousin will tell you, she can't stand coming to my house because I'm constantly picking up. So with that said, after everything transpired, and I'm going to tell you, out of everybody I called in this district, you were the only one, and Captain Gailey were the only ones that helped us. And I want to thank you, because we dealt with so much drug activity at that house for 4 years. And with the minor that was there, he lived in just, you saw, just disgusting conditions with the kids going outside to the bathroom, and the adults not just abandoning him. And there was a child, a newborn baby that was there on August the 18th, and I called DYFS. This is what makes me angry too. I called the health department. I called in Toms River. They did nothing. I called the health department here. They did nothing. The only thing that they did do is they got the infant out. They tried to sneak the infant in at 11:30 at nighttime in the summer. And when as soon as I seen that car seat, I immediately called DYFS. I called DYFS middle of, like, the beginning of February, because I was the one that was giving the kids the wood for the stove, and buying them wood and giving them money for food. I only had one incident that was on February, I believe was the 19th, a Monday, with the minor that was there, because I never had words with him, ever, and I was just so disgusted as to everything that was going on, that, you know, the next day, when the code enforcer, you know, after I like yelled at him and got in his face between Wawa and then running over here like a maniac, he went over there, and those kids on Wednesday afternoon, I pulled into my house and they were like pulling all this stuff out. And the one kid, Ray Borderman, he's 22, he's homeless, who actually was the one that fixed the windows that were supposed to be fixed. He put, I don't know if you saw, there was plexiglass in the front windows. I can't say I became friends with him, but I understood his situation because I was homeless for a while when my dad passed away. So, you know, I have a soft spot for these kids, and what they had to go through, and the township did nothing to help the minor. I just wanted to thank you, and to say you and Kathy Gailey, out of everybody that worked in this township, you two were the only two besides the police department. And there's one other thing I want to say. I strongly feel that Brad Wixler, the owner of that property, should be made financially responsible for all the man hours that the police department had to go there. Between all the police officers that were there, there had to have been over 50 calls from 14 to 18, and you know, just all the gas that they had to spend, putting their life in jeopardy, not knowing what they were walking into. I don't know if you've been at that property since the 1st of March, but I was the one that gave the police department the owner's new address, the owner's phone number. I trolled Facebook for months to find out where he was, because nobody in the township wanted to do anything, so I took it upon myself. I drove all the way down to West Creek where he lives, and I did my own surveillance to see, okay, here, this is where he lives. I got the correct address. So that's all I wanted to say. You know, after I saw the kids doing the drive-up drug transactions, and I was like, you know, you little bastards, don't do this shit in front of my house. I just had enough. So I'm just here to thank you, and just thank you.
That's our job.
It's over. I'm dead. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Anybody else?
Nicholas Spaltro from the Seabreeze at Lacey Community, Dunbury Drive. What I want to do is make the committee aware that we have in Seabreeze a water pressure problem. Mayor, you're certainly aware of it from the number of MUA meetings that I've attended. This has also been complaints with Toll Brothers. And the reason why I bring this up is I need you folks to keep this in mind when you're approving bond reductions for toll. Because our fear is that, they're going to sell, they're selling at a good clip. They're going to sell out the community, and they're going to kind of leave us holding the bag on the water pressure. The MUA's position is, it's toll's problem.
Those
Toll's
bonds
posi-
that we released tonight or reduced tonight have nothing to do with the water and sewer. They
I
post other bonds over at the
I
MUA for
understand,
that.
there's other bonds that
Right.
you're holding, I understand. But I just, please keep this in mind, because the MUA's pointing the finger at Toll, Toll's pointing the finger at the MUA. We've had a number of tests that have been done in the community, and as you know, back in 2013, it was a very bad fire, and the fire department did report that they had problems delivering water from certain hydrants. So we've had testing done, Toll has done testing, the MUA has done testing. The water pressure by any standard is low. 48 static pressure, maybe 55. I understand Mr. Wolf raised the level of the tower behind Wawa to nearly overflowing in order to give us a little bit more pressure. But it would seem that the gravity-fed system is inadequate for our community. I know, we not to go into all of the technical details, but, some of the pressures that the Monarch outfit, who's an engineering firm that flow tested hydrants and does these certifications, came to my house and other similar model homes and recorded pressures in the low 50s, start opening up faucets, it was 21 PSI. You just can't run your irrigation, take a shower, shower heads don't perform, fixtures don't perform. You speak to the Kohler company, they're saying 65 PSI is what they're looking for, minimum 58. But where I used to live, it was 65 to 75 PSI. And the other day, Toll sent their plumber to my home, disassembled the main line. Took it, kind of scary because, he's fooling around with a pipe that was only a few inches above the slab. Disassembled it, looked for debris. Toll felt, well, maybe there's debris in the pipe. Couldn't find anything. He connected up a 1-inch line, ran it through the garage out to the driveway, and ran and opened up the curb valve wide open. And, for a 1-inch line, that water should have been hitting the street. It was barely going halfway down the driveway. And even the plumber said, wow, that's pretty weak. We have a problem. We believe we need a booster pump. MUA says Toll should pay, Toll says MUA should pay. Somewhere along the line, somebody's got to help us out here. So please keep this in mind when you're looking at the bond reductions. And I spoke to Mr. Wolf, Mayor, yesterday about this, talked to him about the testing that was done and what the results were.
I have to
Okay?
meet with him tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Anybody else?
Motion to close the floor.
Seeing none, I make a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Oh, Russ must have talked.
Oh.
Good evening. Russ Harlow, 17 Lovelock in Forked River. And I just want to recognize the efforts by the mayor and the committeemen in regard to Oyster Creek. You spoke to some of those points, proactively meeting with Exelon to understand what their plans are, proactively working with the legislature, Senator Booker, as far as some compensation, appropriate compensation to the community for the long-term storage of the nuclear spent fuel. So recognizing that, I think we're at a very important point right now. Decommissioning has not started yet. It's about a year and a half off. And I think it's very important for the community and the town to understand what their plans are as early as possible so that we can affect that. And part of the process would be that they submit a post-shutdown activities report, and that's actually due by administrative consent order on 12/31/18. So I think the sooner we can get that, the sooner we can review that as a community and be satisfied that that work is done safely and effectively.
Yeah, we've spoken to the gentleman, Jeff Dahl, who he actually lives in town, who's going to be handling the decommissioning, and he's aware of the fact that we want to get a copy of that as soon as the report is ready to go out. And I certainly, we're going to share that, especially with your background, and we've had some very good in-depth conversations, so.
And I think to the degree that, the town can preview that and get some input into it early,
Right.
before it's formal, I think would be very beneficial. Okay. And I think the other aspect that you mentioned that I think maybe we need to understand a little bit better is who's going to perform the decommissioning. Is it going to be Exelon? Are they going to contract it? And again, not understanding what they're speaking about, one of the things that we need to be cautious about is they're trying to transfer that liability.
Correct. Yeah, we raised that question during the meeting that we had with them, and the decision is still up in the air. They are seriously looking at bringing in an outside company to take and do it, and if they did that, all liability and all of the decommissioning fund would transfer over to that other entity,
Yeah,
which is
I think
a
that's
concern to us.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern.
Yeah.
So, but we're hoping to have another meeting with them very shortly, and we're just going to continually work through the process. They've been a good partner as a generation plan, but we want to make sure we're good partners as they go through the decommissioning and don't leave Lacey Township holding the bag
Totally
here.
agree.
So,
So we'll take a step and we'll work together to get the best situation. we can.
very much so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone
I
else?
just want to, I need one more question.
Stand up.
Sure.
I'm so afraid of. For what was just passed for 458 Barnacle, is that for the wood going up, or is that for that disgusting shed? Are you
No,
gonna-
that was for the boarding up of the
Boarding
house
up,
and the
yeah.
manpower that it took to do that from the Public Works Department.
Okay.
And it will be a lien placed on their property taxes.
Okay, so my question to you is, how can we get Brad Wixler to take that shed down with all those racial slurs and those naughty words on there? Because Monday, I contacted Captain Ganley, and, because he had said, nobody's allowed on the property. So I made friends with the two ladies behind that house, and I called up Captain Ganley, and I said, listen, is there any way that I can go back there and clean up? He goes, well, you gotta get the owner's permission. Okay, so I text Brad Wixler, and I said, listen, you got young kids that are living behind that house with all the naughty words. Is it okay if I go back there and clean up and get all the glass out of the street? Because I just put brand new tires on my truck, and I ruined my one truck. So Monday, I spent 2.5 hours out there. I cleaned up all the glass in the front, and then I went in the back, and I took everything that had racial slurs on it and naughty words, and I just put everything in a pile. But the one thing that's mainly disturbing is the shed. So if I can get Brad Wixler...
Is the shed in disrepair, or is it
It's
falling down or in
it's-
disrepair?
No, it's got naughty words and it's got disgusting racial slurs on it. I'm not gonna say it out loud.
No, I don't expect you
Well,
to.
Andrew, the house is basically boarded up, so it's more or less considered abandoned at this point. Couldn't we reach out to the mortgage company and get the okay from the mortgage company? Because they're really on the hook for it at this point.
They have a mortgage on the property?
I believe there is a mortgage on the property, yes.
There's a mortgage on the property. I gave Captain Ganley a copy. I have the paper of the attorney if you want it, on my person. I'll give it to you. And, if Brad Wixler will say, Kathleen, I give you permission to take the shed down, can I take it down? If he
Well, that's
gives-
between you and him.
But I'm just
He
saying,
did.
because it's really disturbing of what's on there. And I
Well, what
can-
happens if it just got painted over, like if
I
we
don't-
took
I don't-
spray paint and...
I don't think that's gonna work. It's really bad. I don't wanna say what it says on it.
No, I'm not asking you to say what it says. I trust that there's foul language on there. I was just wondering if we just painted it over.
I don't think that's gonna work.
Because without it falling into disrepair, we as a township don't have the right to go and take it down. It has to be falling down in disrepair for us to be able to do that after we make notice to the proper property owners and mortgage companies and stuff like that. So that's why painting, if we could just paint over those foul language words, that might be an easy fix.
You were there.
Yeah, because we can't go and take that down, because then we're going to be held liable and could be sued because we took down a perfectly fine building, basically.
So I have the attorney's information. Do you want, I'll give it to you right now.
Code enforcement would, I mean, well, I could,
Captain Ganley has a copy of it also,
Well,
so does the chief of
we could go take a look at it, and I could probably get Public Works to go and
Just paint it.
paint it.
I would appreciate
And then
that because it's very disturbing.
add that
You
to
can
the-
see it from
the bill.
street. There's also naughty words and racial slurs on the trees and on the fence that you can see.
We'll go there and paint it.
Thank you.
Easy enough.
Anybody else?
Seeing none, I make a motion, we close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved. I mean,
Second.
What's that?
All in favor?
Steven's like, come on, guys.
Trying to drag Nikki into the,